Good morning, everyone. Yesterday we studied about fossils, that what are fossils, how are they made, what is the procedure behind their formation, and I have given you an example of starfish, that when a starfish dies, how under what procedures it goes to convert into a fossil. So today we will be starting with paleontology. What is paleontology? So children, it is a branch of science that deals with the study of the fossils. That means the life that existed in the past. So that science which studies the past, that means the life that existed in the history. So that is called as paleontology. And when we talk about paleontologists, so these are the persons who study about fossils. Fine, so they study, they go through the rock pieces or the pieces in which the fossils are embedded, and they study about it to know the history of that time. As I told you yesterday that fossils tell us about different things which happened in the past. So what are the three main things they indicate us? That means what things fossils tell us? How do they help us to know the history? So first of all, the fossils tell us to identify the living things. That which living thing are we looking at? What is the species? We are looking at the piece of rock, that means the fossil which we are looking at. Which type of living thing was that? Second thing, the environment in which it lived. That means the fossil which has been found, what was the environment in those days? What was the atmosphere on the earth on those days when that fossil was being found? Fine, so that means the period in which that animal which died and became a fossil, what was that period in history? How was the environment at that time? Third, the history of the earth, which is the main thing that fossils tell us about the history, that is the past of the earth. Till now I told you about the natural process of the fossil formation. These all things which I told, these are all happening naturally. That means no human interference is there. That means the animal dies, it got buried under the different layers of the soil. The soft parts of the body got rotten away, whereas the hard parts were preserved and they convert into a fossil. But now, when I talk about petrification, petrification is an artificial method, it's a man-made process. Fine. So petrification is another method by which fossils are formed. It is a process in which matter that has been living in the past, it is exposed to minerals over the years. That means exposed to minerals for a number of years and then they turn into a fossil. That means the output is same. The fossil is being formed in this case also as well as the earlier cases also. But that was a natural process and this is a man-made process where we are keeping the animal species which were living in the past in the presence of some minerals. We are exposing those things to the minerals and then that turn into a fossil. So this is a man-made process of making a fossil. Look at this picture of an amber. There are some organisms which are embedded. Embedded means they are fixed firmly and deeply in amber. What is amber? Amber is a hardened form of tree sap. So this usually preserves insects or pieces of animals and plants. As you can see, this tree sap with time it get hardened and the insects which are coming and sitting over here they get trapped inside, and as usually when they get trapped inside you can see this whole insect is being preserved inside this amber and after millions of years it turns into a fossil. So this is how, as it is transparent, so we can very clearly see the presence of insect inside with all its body parts. Now, fossils are of two types. One is a body fossil, as you can see in the picture below it, and second is the trace fossil. So, I hope it's clear from the picture as well that in the body fossil, you can see the fossils that contain some portion of the actual organism's body. That means you can see the bones of the whole animal, the teeth of that animal. So, that means that is a part of the actual organism's body, that means that animal itself, so that comes under the body fossil. Whereas when we talk about the trace fossil, you can see in the picture these are the footprints of the animals. So trace fossils are the fossils that only contain some traces of activities of organisms such as nest, it can be impressions or animal footprints, animal droppings. That means the things which are related to animals but not the part of their body. These are only the activities of the animals. Like when the animals walk, their footprints, where the birds live, their nests. Fine. When the animals take out the solid waste out of the body, so that can be the animal droppings. So the things which are related to animals but not actually the part of that animal, that is a trace fossil. So I'm repeating once again. So body fossils, that means the part of the actual organism's body, like bones, teeth, if we talk about plants, the bark, the seed cover, the veins in the leaves. Fine. And if we talk about the trace fossil, this is the thing which is related to the animal, but not actually the part of that animal. But yes, the activity is related to that animal, like these animal footprints. It can be the nest. It can be the impressions. Fine. Uh, have a look at these questions. These are objective type questions related to whatever we have covered yesterday and today. So these are multiple choice questions. Just go through them. This slide and the slide next to it contains of total 8 MCQs, that is multiple choice questions. Just go through them and tick the correct answer. We'll be discussing it later, and this whole thing is uploaded on ERP as well. So thank you for today.